Hello, Music Multiverse listeners. Welcome to Beyond Your Radio. It's Canada time. My northern obsession realized in a show format. Some of the panelists are tired of it all, I bet. This country has a grip on great musicianship, and they've got a rich history in albums. So the panelists today are bringing albums to you. Some of these you might know, some you might have to take your headphones and put them on or write it down for later. All depends. It's up to you. Welcome to Albums from the Leaf 2024, episode 7. As always, any genre, any style, any type of album. But before we get into them, it's a call out. It's a clicking cup. Click, subscribe, and get everything Beyond Your Radio has to offer, and then some. We're rocking, we're jazzing our way to some small success with magical music multiverse listeners like yourself. Well, like fools like me. Well, maybe I'm the only fool.
Fools rush in where wise men never go.
Oh, yes. And I am no wise man. The payoff? Well, Jeff gets to sing. As if you didn't know, those that subscribe albums, you get to listen to that which you might never heard of before. Tonight on the panel, it's a man who's seriously thinking of trading his palm tree in for a nice maple tree, the Grateful Dude. And he knows bad, not good is not Matthew Good. Jeff Young.
One of the young brothers.
Yes, one of the Jeffsons. So, gentlemen, how are we on this fine evening?
Pretty good.
I'm doing okay here. I'm on the big island of Kauai here, doing a little
How
business.
Are you?
I am doing good. I've been to the brewery. I got my water. What else? I'm all ready to run.
It's going to be that kind of show. Excellent.
Absolutely. I'm jazzed.
Yes. We brought our albums. We got them. We ready?
We're all ready to fly.
All right. So let's start off with the Grateful Dude and find out what he's brought for us today.
Okay. Well, I'm continuing my anti-Canada venue by going. Just Mark sent me this list that's got 8,025 Canadian artists on it. So I do this, pick, and whatever I come up with. I did it last time, and I'll do it forever. Because just so you guys know, this from the Leaf will probably continue to about 2095, the way I figure right now.
I'm passing it down from generation to generation.
Mark's kids are going to take over.
That's right. Heaven and hell forbid.
Yeah, well, most likely. So anyway, I did a very interesting person who I never heard of, but Mark said he has heard of, Heather Bishop.
Yeah.
The album is called The Last Tracks 2019. It's a live show. It is weird. She's a mixture of Johnny Cash and Weird Al Yankovic. And
it's a pretty good description.
I swear to God, it's that. She does. Okay, so let me give you a little bit of clarity here. So not only is she known for her folk and her voice, which she does have a good but extremely interesting voice, but she's known for her children's albums. She has several children albums. And in this live concert, and I picked it because it's her latest work, and it combines all her genres at one time. She's got the blues, she's got focus rock, she has children's music, all kinds of stuff.
So she did that in there? Wow.
Oh, everything is in there. Oh, wow. Yeah. And I was, first of all, she's got this habit of, and this is why I said Johnny Cash, she's taken like 6 or 7 of Johnny Cash tunes, okay, like Boy Named Sue and stuff like that, and added her own lyrics. like a Weird Al would do. So
Yeah, don't sniff glue. I get it.
yeah, well, she's got one, the Chickadee on the Run, which is a
Mm.
story about chickens who got on a truck and ended up at the butchery, and
Oh.
they made a mad escape, and there was 18,000 chickens in New York. And then she's got one called the Duck in New York, where halfway along the whole audience are go quack 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 quack. It was hilarious,
It's excellent.
hilarious.
Ah, I love it.
It was.
I love it.
She did just a lot of really funny. She did Old Bourbon, No Bourbon, No
No
Bourbon.
bourbon. Yeah.
It's I guess a true story of her and her bassist, who were in the old town in Kentucky, and they really wanted a bourbon before they got on the road, so they went into the only bar in town, and it turned out to be a strip bar. And then when they went to the table and ordered, so their strip bar, they only serve Coca-Cola because it's dry county.
Ah, okay.
So it was interesting. So she has a very long leash on her licensing here, because she definitely uses a lot of other people's tunes that I, you know, uh, caught on to immediately. For me to rate this album, it's very interesting because in some ways, it's so far out of my wheelhouse. It's I've never been a Weird Al fan, but some of his stuff's been okay. But I just find some of it cheesy. So I would have to put her album in the cheesy range. But I'm sure there are thousands of people out there looking at her website and how much touring she does and did, who really like this cheesiness.
Yeah.
So it's definitely not something for me. Will I listen to again? Not likely. I did listen to a few other her albums, a little bit of some so-called regular albums. She does an album on blues, which is not bad.
Yeah, Taste of Blues,
Eh,
2009. That's the one I heard.
yeah, yeah, yeah. That's probably the album I should have picked, but I was being something.
You did it. I mean, hey,
I,
I love it.
I
I
was
love it.
I was being hysterical. So, but yeah, so yeah, I really it was good. It was good
Yeah.
to a certain point. I couldn't
Something
listen
different.
to it again. I finally took off the headphones and oh yeah, that's over with now. So so yeah, so for you guys out there who like us or your kids, they got some great songs for kids.
Yeah.
Mark, I think you should play these for your kids tonight.
I think it's sort of like it might wash their mouth out with soap. I get that Drakean stuff out of them, man. I'm telling you, or XX something. Oh boy, what they
Oh
listen to today has no musical quality whatsoever. Sorry, there's nothing being
yeah,
played.
we shouldn't say so much. We probably have a few people out there that are of that demographic, but I do not believe there is no musical quality left in a lot of what kids listen to today. It
Yeah, it's
just
very drone, very sparse, and the same thing over and over again, which is sad. But
yeah.
but
So
hey, a story for another day. But the actuality is of one of our shows, the discussion about the maturity you need to listen and understand music that's been made takes time. It does.
yep.
Nobody wants to say, God, my dad listened to the greatest stuff. He had it right on. No way. That
Yeah,
happens later. Right?
actually, but the funny is, we one of our panelists feels that way, so he loves all his dad's stuff.
Yeah.
So
Funny, I do hear, I've heard a lot of kids, like younger kids, like college age, high school, literally say, man, I wish I would have been around the 80s or 90s. The music
oh
was so
yeah, no, yeah, absolutely. Sometimes trying to listen to certain people, newer people, and I have a long list, but we won't.
Yeah.
That's for a different, definitely a
Different
different
time.
topic.
I really think that's a great show idea because I'd like to talk about the idea of like stop trying to make a quick dollar because it's not helping the music industry that you wrote this thing and then you can't produce and you can't play an instrument and you're trying to make it fast and easy. And I don't need a song about what you did that day. That's not convincing to me. It's not. It's somebody on Twitter the other day goes they had an album and they said I picked this album up. It's 39 years I haven't listened to this album. And it was one of Jimi Hendrix's albums. Like I won't give the title. And he just said, I'll probably never listen to it for another 39 years. And he goes, anybody else feel the same way about anything else? And I put the Who Tommy. And I just said, I'll pick it up and I'll just go, you know what? I really don't care that he plays a mean pinball. I don't care. And I
You know,
won't
it's
listen to it.
funny, and that's how different a lot of people are. I happen to listen to that particular album, Tommy, at least every couple weeks. I
Yeah.
love the album,
Yeah, I do.
absolutely adore it. You know, and I would be shunned by you if I said, and it's the truth, that it's my favorite Tommy album. Or
Oh,
I mean, my
is
favorite
that your
Who
favorite
album.
Who? Wow, that's
Yeah.
interesting. Okay.
Yeah, I just love
Yeah.
that album. I think their writing is totally intense. You know, maybe it just went over your head, Mark.
Well, hey, that's just not a connection. It's not that much a connection. I heard it the first time and it got played a lot, and I'm like, sometimes Rush can be that way for me. Just like, I
Hey,
don't need to
and
pick that
Rush
up.
is always that way to me. So hey,
Yeah, right. So, yeah, but I
we
do
may
love
be
Rush.
we may be good friends, but sometimes our musical tastes are on opposite ends of the spectrum.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. You pick up Heather Bishop, I pick up Bishop Briggs. You never know. Mr. Young, what did you bring today?
Well, I brought an album that's only like a week and a half old from the
Yeah.
release date. So I picked, and it's a double album, Sum 41, Heaven and Hell. It was released on the
Is
29th.
it Heaven and Hell or is it Heaven X Hell? What's the
It's
story there?
Heaven and Hell. It's written Heaven, X, Hell.
Yeah, okay.
So the first album is Heaven, the second album is Hell. The first
Okay.
album, Heaven, is based going more back to their original All Killer No Thriller album, which is more pop punk. The second album is more of their contemporary, like rock, even metal style, where you literally got some shredding guitar solos on this side. And it is a great double album. It is awesome.
Is it awesome?
Anyone who
I haven't
likes
listened to it yet, so
Sum
I'm excited
41
now.
is gonna love this. And what I found fascinating by this is I'm not a huge Sum 41 fan. I like them a lot, but it just for some reason I'm just not like going out searching for them. But anytime they're on, I listen to them. I think they're really good. But it's funny is like they announced in 2022 that they were going to do this album, and it didn't come out 2024. Of course, it's a double album, and they announced that they were going to do the pop punk style, and they call it Heaven and Hell, kind of as a nod to Black Sabbath's Heaven and Hell. I guess they were fans of that, but so and they're going to tour for like 2 years, and they announced that this was their last album, and they were going to be quitting the band. But it's funny, I was looking at like they've released like 4 songs within the past 2 years before this was actually released, and it was released earlier, a couple weeks ago, in a couple different countries. So there was kind of like a worldwide leak, so to speak. But what's funny is like some of the reviews I was looking at, like I feel like the people who reviewed it did a really good job based on the one time I've listened to it, because I really just listened to it today. But they said, the Heaven side of the album is a sweet spot among Billy Talent, Green Day, and Blink-182, and the Hell side is similar to some of the earlier albums, and it's just kind of, they describe it as a whirlpool of rage and frustration, but it kind of rocks, man. It's really good. It's also been called the most complete and adventurous album of the band's career. It's a perfect goodbye for such an iconic band. They said it never drags, and I agree that it just hit after hit, and like I said, everyone's saying it's like probably their best work, even though like, and what's funny is like you announce you're going to have one last album, and then you do a double album. It's pretty cool.
That is. I'm
And you're
trying to
like,
think of
hey,
who
we're
else
going
has
to quit
done
after
that.
this tour, but we're going to tour for 2 years. And actually come to Tampa with Offspring and Simple Plan in August. So I have to check that out.
Nice.
But
Nice.
it's a really good album. I think anyone who likes Green Day will really like this album, or anyone who likes Blink-182, anyone who likes just that pop punk and like rock with, they have pretty good catchy hooks and lyrics in their songs, whether it's the
They do.
rock or the punk, pop era. But it's just really good, just really good.
Yeah, this is the second time they've been on this program as with an album. So it's this will put. I kept hearing things, and I wanted to put it on my ear, but I've had so many albums I got to listen to, and that they usually find the back of the pack. I wind up listening to them usually like 10 months after the album's been out sometimes. So it's just
I mean, it's 20 tracks, so you got a long drive, you're good, man.
yeah, and their songs aren't they don't have any epic kind of thing going on.
No,
So
no, they do cover the Rolling Stones Painted Black though on the second side, the house side.
okay,
Um,
nice.
I think that's the only cover they do, but yeah, I mean, all the songs are, 2 to 3.5 minutes. I mean, they're not very long, honestly.
Yeah, cool. Oh, that's excellent because now you got me peaked. I'll be into that and yeah, it's a double album, but it doesn't sound like it's gonna take you double long to listen to it. You know what I mean?
Total
It's probably
length
what third.
is 55 minutes and 2 seconds.
There
For
you
2 albums? Wow.
go.
What's that? 35 seconds a song, right?
Yeah. No, I think that you're confusing that with Stormtroopers of Death. They have like songs that are 8 seconds long and stuff. So, Jesse Roper was born and raised in rural community of what's Metoshan, British Columbia. If I said that wrong, I apologize to those Metachosans. He has been pressing upon his version of Canadian guitar blues with hints of R&B and funk over the last, I'd say about a decade maybe. And now the album that started this all for him is not the album I'm going to pick. Basically, because that was like his coming out of this shell. So here's a guy who can play guitar. He's in school and everybody knows that he can do this. He doesn't want to be in a band. He has stage fright. And apparently he was forced to play at an open mic. And then once he did it, that was it. He had to do it again. So sort of like some people that ride a roller coaster are scared to death. And once they ride it, they want to go again and again. By the way, that's not me. I'm scared shitless. So I want to talk about the harsh realities. That's why I'm bringing up the album I'm going to bring to you. First album might have been that West Coast thing. It was extremely popular and that never reached me. I knew nothing about Jesse Roper, but it's not in any wheelhouse I heard, even though he was in the likes of Keith Urban, Colin James, and the glorious Beth Hart. Okay. And also mentioned in the vein of like Ratcliffe, Nathaniel Ratcliffe and the Night Sweats. So like the producer of his record that I'm going to mention said to him in a meeting before he hired him, he said, I don't like your previous work, but I love your vibe. Can you imagine you're going to create your next album with this producer and he tells you, I don't like anything you've done, but I like your vibe? And it's holy shit, man. That's absolute insanity. But he said, wow, the harshness of that made him think, right? So this is exactly what I'm talking about. Sometimes in music, someone has to come in and shape the foundation. There's more to you than this. And in fact, what he was playing didn't even seem at the center of who he was. Enter 2023's album Horizons. This is an album right in the wheelhouse of today, and the center of the album is soul. He's not lost any way of who he is. What he's gained here is a signature, more connection, and a swagger that's more noticeable on every freaking track. Sure, there's old school blues. I hear the Blues Brothers in this, wicked. There's that new blues vibe, which comes from like the Alabama Shakes, the St. Paul and the Broken Bones. And And then there's Cool Whip, the song he has on here. That is a folk funk feel, and it's a simple acoustic track that has that vibe that this producer was talking about. And it's just marvelous. And then there's bigger instrumentation because obviously the producer said, hey, you got to have more sound, can't be just your guitar. And they went big, and that's what's the song? Oh, it's the title track. It's slamming. I mean, it's all on. The title track has that in Diamonds and Spades. He's a clever writer. He's not afraid to lean country or folk, but he dips it all in this soul that he's got. And I don't know how a person who is that stage fright is able to deliver the way he's delivering. His shows, I guess, are getting real good notoriety. So he is someone definitely to
Drugs and
watch.
alcohol help.
Well, I'm not sure if that's the case, but who knows? It's shocking how good he is, considering that stage fright. He's on the radar, and he should be on yours out there, in my opinion. So check out Jesse Roper and start here at Horizons and work your way backwards. He will have his hooks, one of the songs from that record, in you old and new school. So
when you were
that's
saying
my
about
pick.
how, can you imagine working with somebody who said they didn't like anything you've done before? That reminds me, did you ever hear the story of how Quentin Tarantino hired John Travolta for Pulp
No.
Fiction? So I forget how they met somewhere, but he invites John Travolta to his apartment and they play the Welcome Back Kotter board game. And during the board game, he looks at him and he goes, John, I'm extremely disappointed in your career. And he just basically tells him, I think you're way better than your career has led everyone to believe. And I got a movie I think is a perfect part for you. And I think that we can really turn things around for you. But over the Welcome Back Kotter board game, he's like, I don't like anything you've done. I think you've done, but you could have done so much better.
What would be the point of the Welcome Back Kotter board game?
I
Beats
he
the
he
shit
probably
out
loved the
of
novelty
me.
of it, playing with somebody from the show. I would.
Yeah, but what I mean, are you trying to work your way to Mork and Mindy? I don't, I'm shocked by both sides of that. But anyway, it's a great story. Fits right in, man. I love it. Yeah, sometimes you need somebody to shake the foundation. I need someone to shake mine. And that's you guys out there. So I want to thank my panelists for doing this tonight, for their great picks. We'll do this again in 2 weeks. Please like and comment. Check us out on other programs like our daily album for today. Don't miss panelists' favorite show this Friday, 1974 albums. Pick their top 5. Good luck. Big year, big year. Album review Saturdays coming up, Unknown Sundays. Go beyond your radio with us, a real music appreciation channel. Until next time, happy listening.